welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. We're just continuing starting the homestead on a budget here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, and today's video, like I promised, we're going to be talking about the building of the barn and the chicken coop on a budget. So what I did when we bought the property, we had a bunch of debris laying around. That debris was stuff that was torn off the single-wide manufactured home and parts of the manufactured home. After stripping the manufactured home, I salvaged all the material I could, cleaned it up and stacked it up and sorted it out. And from this pile, I measured and counted all the material I had. In addition, I had some corrugated metal that I had accumulated when I was living over at Acorn Acres. So we accumulated that and set it over here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, and with the stack of material that I had accumulated, that dictated the size and the shape of the structures I wanted to build. I wanted to build a barn, but I wanted to build it small enough. Now, in our state, we passed a law by referendum that the zoning or the codes, you did not require a permit for anything under 200 square feet, because the requirements for permits were getting really ridiculous in our state. And so, as voters, we passed a law and we as the voters restricted what the county's jurisdictions can impose on us with laws, rules, and regulations. So having certain permits were just ridiculous. So we went ahead and passed that referendum, and so now we can build dwellings, so long as they're safe and without electricity and plumbing, under 200 square feet, and there's other certain parameters involved. So my barn I wanted to keep under 200 square feet, so the material I had dictated the size and the shape of the barn. What I came up with was a wall system, 12 foot long, 4 foot high. Each roof panel was 12 feet long and 4 feet in width for each roof panel, which gave me this typical barn look. So the studs of the barn were actually the studs that were salvaged from the walls of the house that I found growing, laying amongst the weeds growing around the home site. So I salvaged all of those and put them aside and cut them to length to be able to build suitable walls. The joists, the floor joists and roof joists of the barn I used were actually the floor joists I salvaged from the manufacturer, or the mobile home that was here. So far I spent no money on the barn. It wasn't until I was getting ready to paint the barn is when I started spending money. And applying the sheet metal, I needed screws, and specifically sheet metal screws, so I spent money on those also. So all in all, I spent about $80 on the barn project altogether, and that includes paint and screws. 2 gallons of paint, 1 gallon of antique red, and 1 gallon of hunter green for the roof, antique red for the barn. The door was free, the windows were free, they were given to me by a friend, and here's the barn complete. The interior of the barn was finished off, which included stairs going up to the loft, and of course I was given a bunch of hardwood flooring by my neighbor across the street, and I finished off the interior of the barn with this hardwood flooring up the walls and the ceiling. I built this manger, and I also built this milking stanchion for the goats. Now, the chicken coop, also constructed of all repurposed material. I used the flooring. It was leftover tin sheeting that was salvaged from the roof of the manufactured home, and I used that to put on the floor, so it's now predator-proof. So my chickens live in a Fort Knox chicken coop. So I went ahead and built this chicken coop. The main area is 6 foot by 6 foot by 6 foot square. It sets 2 feet off the floor, and the floor space, the actual chicken run space, measures 6 feet wide by 12 feet long. So the total height of the chicken coop is 9 feet high, as well as the total height of the barn is 9 feet high. So again, really the only expense on this chicken coop was the paint for the siding and the roof. I already have the roofing material, but the siding I purchased at a discount from a discount building warehouse, and so it was. I just used 4 sheets of siding and 4 sheets of paneling for the interior. See, 1, 2, 3. Excuse me, it was 3 sheets each. And so, because the walls were only 4 foot high on the sides, but yet on the peak they went up to 6 feet. So you can walk into the chicken coop and stand in it. The chicken coop was finished off with a roosting perch, and under the roosting perch I built this tray which captures all the chicken poo. When chickens roost, they do most of their pooping, so it's concentrated in this one area, so I was able to make it an easy, clean chicken coop. And the flooring in the side of the chicken coop area I put pine shavings down. The chicken coop, I also put these 4 nesting boxes in. Actually, on the side of the chicken coop, I mounted 3 nesting boxes with little access ports on the inside of the chicken coop for the chickens to comfortably go in, lay their eggs in a nice, private, dark place, and do what the ladies do. And I was able to access it from the outside by lifting the little roof line and able to grab the eggs from there. So I enclosed the chicken run and chicken wire I'd already had and completed it. You can see in the beginning of the film where the pond was pretty messy and choked up with weeds, and in the final picture of the chicken coop, the pond is cleaned out. So that was another task that I performed while setting up the homestead. So overall cost of the barn and the chicken coop on starting the homestead on a budget was approximately $160 total. That's including all the paint I used and all the extra screws I needed to purchase, and the siding and paneling that I purchased. And look for the next installment of the videos on this series. In the next video set, I will be talking about the animals I chose for the hobby farm and my apiary. So stay tuned. So look for us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen, here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I want to thank you for coming.